Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome to She Reddit. I'm She, so let's read some Reddit. Monster-in-laws is a thread that we're diving into today, so let's get it. Mother-in-law, Mother's Day gift she will hate. My mother-in-law always expects the best and most expensive gifts. When I was first with my husband, we bought her gifts I thought were nice and in our budget. She immediately complained and told me how terrible her kids were for not getting her the gifts she had been saying she wanted. Example, we bought her some jewelry in the $100 range and she was mad because we didn't get the stuff that was around $2,500 she wanted.
No math.
I stopped caring at that moment. As would our bestie, $2,500 for a piece of jewelry for a gift?
Get out of here.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We go no contact to occasional low contact with her. We have been no contact for a while now. My father-in-law told us how sad she is lately. I am sure implying because we moved far away. In reality, it means her daughter and the favorite is giving her the cold shoulder right now, so we are supposed to entertain. My husband said, fine, we will send her something from our daughter. We let our daughter pick out flowers. They were tulips and will be delivered the Friday before Mother's Day. Because of where we ordered them from, they will not deliver on Mother's Day. Mother-in-law will absolutely hate them. She only wants the most expensive roses delivered and on Mother's Day. Or she will tell everyone we are cheap. Say it louder for the people in the back. Okay? Like, what do you mean? And? I love when she tells others how cheap we are for sending her flowers or gifts. Most people look at her like she is the rudest person for being so unappreciative. Exactly. In no way is the gift rude, and she looks so bad complaining.
Fatality.
Now that's the way you handle a materialistic monster-in-law, okay? That is the perfect way to definitely stick it to her at the same time as being, passive aggressive, look, oh, you want a gift? You'll get a gift. Here's some tulips. And they're from your granddaughter. So if you complain about that, that'll make you look even worse. Love it. But let's go to the comments. This made me laugh. In one of the many arguments my sister-in-law had with my hubby during our engagement, my sweet hubby picked up the etiquette book and read it to her word for word. Somehow, that made her even angrier. I guess she didn't like being proven wrong. That's what I'm saying. When someone's being that much of a nuisance to you, and at some point you get to where you just can't ignore them because essentially they are family, just get petty. Just get petty, but get that low key petty. That one where you just stick it to them right under the table to where no one else notices, but them. And even when they try to make their statement about it, they still end up looking like the bad guy.
Savage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely a bad look for her to complain. Just ignore it and keep on doing the bare minimum, since anything you do won't be appreciated anyway. That's what we do for my mother-in-law. She always makes me out to be some kind of ungrateful biatch that no matter how much effort I put into things. And believe me, I've experimented with going all out for her many a times in the past, and it never makes her happy. Yeah, exactly what this person said. A person with this sense of entitlement is always going to find something negative in what you do, no matter how generous or expensive or sentimental, the things you try to do for them is. They are going to find something wrong with it and make you out to be the a-hole in the situation. So exactly. Just keep doing what you're doing. Katie looks good on you, queen. Next story. Am I overreacting, or do I have the right to be hurt by this? My mother-in-law told my husband of 20 years that if he were to pass before he receives his inheritance from his parents, that his share will go to my daughter. This really hurt my feelings so much that she doesn't care one bit about me. God forbid something does happen to my husband. My husband and I are happily married for the most part. LOL. No marriage is perfect, but I feel we are doing okay. I really don't think this will happen anyway, but it really hurts my feelings that she was thinking about the what ifs and purposefully would leave a grieving wife with nothing. I probably have no right to be upset, but I am. I'm glad you kind of realize that you don't have a right to be upset because you don't.
I'm offended.
Your mother-in-law is looking out for her granddaughter. And that makes perfect sense. You're a grown woman, and you and your husband should have some type of arrangement between the both of you. Life insurance, for one, and any of his assets within your marriage would automatically go to you as his beneficiary. That's if you are his beneficiary. Your attitude on this matter is definitely misplaced because she's definitely not a monster-in-law for wanting to make sure that her family inheritance stays within her family line, which is bloodline to bloodline. So if your husband, your said daughter's father, dies, why would it not make sense that the money for his inheritance go to her? Wouldn't that be what you want, is for her to be financially okay? I don't know, OP. It sounds like you're the monster-in-law there. But let's go to the comments. I thought that's normal. Imagine he passes away and you are remarried by the time your in-laws have died. Would be weird to leave money to you. That's, at least in most cases, very common way to arrange inheritance and how it usually always goes. Doesn't mean she doesn't think your marriage matters. Exactly. It says nothing of your marriage. It has nothing to do with how she feels about you. She is just making sure the future of her bloodline is taken care of. And although y'all are married, you're not her bloodline. Your daughter is. So I would definitely take some self-reflection there, OP, because you definitely sound a little entitled there.
For real.
This is what my in-laws did, and I had absolutely no problem with it. I had an inheritance from my family, and I never expected one from my in-laws when my husband passed. It went to our child, who was their bloodline. Exactly. As inheritance is passed through the bloodlines, not through marriage. It is not a marital asset either, unless you commingle it with your marital assets. You and your husband need to do an estate plan with an estate plan lawyer and a financial planner, if you haven't already, so that each of you know what your financial status will be when one of you passes.
That's what I'm talking about.
You should be making sure that there are life insurance policies on you and your husband so that you are not left in a financial bind. Exactly what I said. Next story. Ooh, okay, we have a father-in-law here. All right. You never really hear about monster-in-laws being the father, so I'm pretty interested in this one. I am originally from a third world country, and so is my husband. We are both engineers and are permanent residents in the US, not planning to go back. Our culture is family-oriented compared to US. We got married 3 years ago and just had our boy 8 months ago. In general, we don't fight much. However, having his parents with us, which they don't even live here, but as soon as I have given birth, now they want to stay with us more than half of the year. Even considering moving here just so they can be with my baby and husband. My husband is their golden boy. My father-in-law is a very conservative person. He even yelled at me for not taking good care of the baby, not feeding him good food, and thus not loving him. Where did he get that conclusion from? This fight happened when I traveled for 2 weeks back home to attend a funeral. He pretty much told me I'm a mother that abandoned her child, and everyone knows and talks about how bad of a mother I am. Sure, I'm an engineer and also doing my second master's in computer science. Oh, girl. At the same time, I send him to daycare and also have him sleep with my in-laws during the week so I can have some sleep and energy for work. Just like any, other two-income household does. Like, okay. They initially told me they wanted this and felt grateful at the time until one day my father-in-law decided to tell me all these things. I'm utterly shocked and traumatized. Cried for weeks, and literally my husband isn't doing. He is a mommy's boy. He did warn his father to behave and not to tell me those things again. He apologized and promised to him, but never to me. Just heard from my mother-in-law that he still despises me.
Brutal.
I keep telling my husband to not bring them again, even considering to divorce him because of this. Now, I literally have to live with them another 4 more months in the same 3-bedroom apartment, and every single day is torture for me. I work from home, and it would be okay if they leave after 4 months and then never come back. However, they want to come during Christmas and stay another couple of months. My husband isn't denying this request. I really don't know how I can go through this. Mother-in-law will act like she's on my side and all, but I know she's talking stuff behind me as she does about her other family members. I feel like I'm going to become miserable with this. Talked with my husband more than a couple of times and still cry every night. No result. I love my husband deeply, and getting divorced is my last resort. Wow, it sounds like your father-in-law is definitely a trip. The vibes that I'm picking up from your father-in-law is that he don't want you to work. And with you saying that he's conservative, that leads me to believe that he's more old school, to where he feels like since after you had your child, that you should be a stay-at-home mom.
100%.
And the fact that he despises you, and honey, I feel your pain with the fact that your husband, you're telling him this. He's seeing that how emotional it's making you, how drained that it has you. And he's like doing nothing about it. And he's consenting to basically allow them around for them to, verbally abuse you even more. That's very telling. That shows that his loyalty basically lies with his parents versus with you. When you get married, you put your household above all others, including your parents. So if your parents, and your parents are in the wrong in the situation, you owe it to the person that you vowed to love, to protect, and to honor, to stand up for them and stop the abuse. Because this is verbal abuse. And it's obviously having a toll on OP to where she is now becoming depressed and traumatized and uncomfortable in her own home. And that's not okay. Your husband needs a reality check of what's happening. And you also need some help with, how you're feeling and the fact that you're feeling so down, especially after 8 months of having a baby. Postpartum is a very real thing. So I think also for your mental health, therapy may be a good option for you guys. But let's go to the comments. Go get a studio apartment to work from and live and keep you and your child there. Just go. Thus doesn't mean a divorce. It means your in-laws are your spouse's responsibility to deal with and manage. He's not doing his job. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, with you guys gone, it should make something go off in his head to realize, like, okay, my wife is about to get ready to leave me. So let me get my parents in order. You're in the US now. You have rights and protection. Tell your husband if he will not listen to your demands and learn to negotiate, you will not be there when they arrive and you will take your kid with you. Then it will be divorce lawyers. I would say that to him. Give him a shock. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I'm getting the impression that OP may have, may just be pleading her case with her husband, but she definitely needs to put her foot down and let him know, like, this is getting to the territory of where I'm considering not being with you anymore. And also, showing him through action of, leaving the house, with the kid when his parents come. Like, show him like that you're serious, and that should give him that shock. All right, guys. So that's all the stories for today. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like. Also, please leave a comment down below of what you think about the stories, or what do you think about what I think about the stories, or anywhere in between. I'd love to read them all. Also, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and also click the alert button so you can be alerted to my next upload. Thank you guys for tuning in to She Read It. She Read It. She out.